would you say that because the chancellors or the vice chancellors are bringing people in and talking to them as more of a team effort, and this is what we need to do, and everybody knows what the priorities are, that certainly has helped. Do you also think that that things from the really big times of 2007, 2008, or even the 10 years within that time span where everything was so fantastic and fast moving too, that everybody has now kind of sat down and said, oh, I must go back and say, I really do appreciate my job, and I value my job, and I value the company that I work for, or the institution that I work for, and I value what I can contribute and what I can do to help support that. Do you see that or have you experienced or noticed there's a difference in change of attitudes as well from this?
I think that, number one, that the higher ups, president, chancellor, vice chancellors, that they've been honest with us. They said, hey, we understand this is where we need to be. Mm-hmm. And the staffing levels are what they're going to be for the foreseeable future, furlough days instead of laying people off, and I mean, they're asking people to give back so that we don't have to lay other people off. Mm-hmm. And so I think that people have kind of, they've seen that they're trying to make, it right by everybody, not just by one group or one particular individual, but they're looking at the picture as a whole. Okay. and trying to get everything done. So I think their honesty, but they're asking us also, what our opinions are. I think more so than, they're trusting the experts now. What do you need to do? How can we get these things done, without affecting the people, greatly.
That's a really good point that you brought up, that they're turning to the workers and saying, what do you think?
Yeah, get some feedback.
Mm-hmm. Are you finding that?
So that we're a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Do you think that's kind of a change, or it's just done to a greater extent now?
For us, it's a greater extent.
I agree. Greater extent.
Tell me a little bit more.
In the food industry, there's a lot of, look at the donuts, and it's a nice looking donut or a piece of bread, etc., but the other factors are product contamination, training, cross-training, the person that just takes care of the boilers. Every person in the engineering department or in maintenance has to absolutely understand what he's doing to every piece of machinery. We use food-grade greases, food-grade lubricants. Everything is spelled out with SOPs. There's critical control points marked all over the place. Going back to the boilers, we use steam. Steam is in the oven, steam is in the proofers. It's the contact point with product. The chemicals that are treating this have to be food-approved chemicals, etc. The person that takes care of those systems has to be trained and understand what he's doing. And that one day I'm not going to put salt in the tanks, or I'm not going to check the chemical levels, pH, conductivity, etc. Compounded with, we're firm believers of you have to know the air of your bakery. You have to have the right air, the right atmosphere. Body language means a lot. Body language, you see the person that could be just standing in front of an oven, moving pans, doing his job, versus a mechanic that's going to walk from one side of the building to another. Mm-hmm. Well, that mechanic, engineer, no one has a time clock on him on how to get from point A to point B. His body language tells a lot. He needs to walk like he's on a mission. People in the plant see this, everybody sees this, and we have the atmosphere, and it's very, very good. People look at each other and say that, when there's a call, those people are moving, they're complimenting each other. If one person goes because maybe a nut fell off the machine, he handles it. If he needs help, they call in the radios, and the rest come, the journeymen come. That's the air that I'm talking about in the plant. There is communication between all the shifts. Second knows what first did, third knows what second did. And the supervisors of the departments match that up to the production logs. You always know the heartbeat of what's going around the clock in your plant is very important. And in those logs, going back to what I said before, the person that is, you may think it's a minute job, he has to thoroughly understand what he's doing, the overall effectiveness of the whole plant. I'll use an analogy. If you take your car to the car dealer and you happen to get the rookie that day, and he doesn't do a good job, what do you think of the whole company when you left? It's the same thing. If we're not aware of metal detectors, product contamination, downtime, et cetera, if there's an issue, then we're gonna have customers visiting you, which.
So how have you kind of brought everybody together to work as a team where everybody's been able to kind of stay calm, cool, and collected?
We increased our interdepartment meetings. We also increased the frequencies of our production versus engineering versus sanitation departments. The whole plant will increase its frequencies of meetings, whether it's before once a week, now it's going to be daily, looking at what happened last night. How can we, take care of this a little bit quicker? Maybe the flower system wasn't drawing fast enough and it caused issues, and we didn't have enough sanitation. So just keeping note of that. A new customer called, or a customer called, increased his orders. We had to start up some of the equipment earlier or shut it down later for whatever particular reasons, which equipment starting related to energy, as I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, is very important for the efficiencies of the plant too, looking at those.
Okay. Let's change the topic a little bit here to some preventative maintenance. Okay. I was reading some studies, and it was showing that if you fix it, you find it and you fix it before it even becomes an issue, your cost of savings is anywhere between 3 and times what that initial investment would be, which is considerable. Is that studies, or a couple of the studies about right? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Ooh, that's good to know. So, but the question though becomes, how far do you take preventative maintenance? You have so many things going on within your facility. Do you take preventative maintenance out on everything? Do you identify, and then how do you identify what are the key components, and those are the ones that you do preventative maintenance? So how do you, let's first just start by saying, how do you approach preventative maintenance?
For hospitals, it's a must. We're heavily regulated. We have the Joint Commission, we have the state IDPH, public health, we have the local fire department, we have the county. So we have to document our preventive maintenance. Our maintenance records should be ready, available whenever they come. So it's a must. We don't have to, we don't have a choice. We do daily rounds. We go over our fan rooms, our mechanical rooms, electrical rooms every day. We still find time to do that. If we see or hear anything which is out of the ordinary, we will address it. We'll present it because of the critical issue, with hospitals. Fortunately, we're about 95% completion rate with our preventive maintenance. Mostly it's, we call it scheduled maintenance, because we schedule, we have a work order system, TMS. We keep track of our preventive maintenance, and we will schedule it to issue work orders. Of course, we lag behind, because of, there's a snow, there's a flood, due to pipe leaking. But that's our rate, about 95% completion rate, which is very good.
So when you're doing the preventive maintenance, is that all internal, or when they find an issue, are they trying to address it first internally before having to call in somebody to?
Well,
to help?
we usually do it internally, because we have skilled staff, and of course we call American Combustion here if we need some help with the boilers, with the steam valves leaking and so forth.
Okay. Now, do you would you say that you bring in a lot of outside help when necessary?
No, not a lot.
Or
We used to take care 100% of our maintenance in the old times. But now, we need to be more flexible and